Hi, ladies. So I'm back here again. My volume seems to be working okay. So I was kind of panicking because last time I had all those troubles when I was doing my live video. So I'm here today to talk about embracing the silence. I know it's one of those things that we don't always get much of these days, but yeah. So if you're joining, feel free to say hi. I know I just checked and my volume should be working, so I'm hoping you guys are hearing me. Say hello and let me know you're on with me. And if you're watching the recording, of course, as always, feel free to comment and ask any questions or whatever. Say hi. Oh, thank you, Courtney. It's always good to see that things are working because last time I had troubles with my sound, and then I was just trying to get on earlier. I'm a little late because my Wi-Fi wasn't working, so all these technical difficulties, but we're here. So we're talking about embracing the silence. So what I found is I remember back when I was struggling with postpartum depression and anxiety, and this topic was very unfamiliar for me. I didn't really know what embracing the silence was, or I wasn't really comfortable with being in silence. And I know when my partner was away for work or whatever, it was very uncomfortable and hard. And I know becoming a mom was uncomfortable too, being alone all day by yourself. Yes, there's lots of noisy moments, crying babies and such, but there's also lots of silence. And so getting to that point where we're comfortable with that silence, it takes some practice, but it does make things easier. It helps shut down those racing thoughts that are going on, and it helps you just kind of appreciate that silence. So they say that by embracing the silence, embracing the silent moments in the day, it's good for your health. Excessive noise can increase our blood pressure and cause more heart attacks in people, more insomnia, not as much sleep for people, higher rates of anxiety and depression. So these are things that the World Health Organization are saying are coming from the crazy, noisy, chaotic world we live in. I know in our world we have all kinds of noises depending on where we live. You know, there's construction going on, airplanes, trucks, there's sirens, lawnmowers, trees being cut down, all kinds of like human-made unnatural noises that keep us constantly distracted. And I know like the TV in the background is another noise that's going on, or having the radio going on. Many people are afraid of the silence. And I remember being in that place in my life where the car radio must be on and there must be that background noise of TV. And in society, what we find is, I don't know if you guys can relate, but when there's a silence in a conversation, it's kind of a point of embarrassment where people are like, okay, let's fill the chatter, let's talk, you know? And it's been a big learning curve for me in my life to learn to just sit down and listen and embrace those little moments and those little spaces of silence in between all of that. And especially with my children, I know it's helped me have a better connection with my children to be able to just sit there and watch what they're doing and listen to them and not be worried about having to go doing things. Because again, I've talked about this before, co-regulation. So our children, they feed off of our energy, or they don't know how to self-regulate their own energy. So they rely on our energy to be, and there's a plane going across as we're talking about silence, so very loud plane. So what I was saying about children, so our children, they really, really need to connect to us. And depending on where our energy levels are, if we're super anxious, they're going to be super anxious. If we're calm, they're going to tend to want to be more calm, or learn to be more calm and be able to adapt to that. So that's something to think about, is as parents learn these tools, we're then helping our children learn these tools to help them be successful in their lives. So like I was saying, many people are afraid of the silence. They're also afraid of being alone. I know I had that as well in the past, being afraid of being alone. And it can be torture for some people. And it's something that we need to try and embrace more and be comfortable with, just sitting in the silence and figuring out who we are and what's going on the inside, reflecting. And again, I talked a little bit about how it can cause all these health problems. There's higher rates of smoking, alcohol consumption, unhealthy eating, stressful life. So these are all things that are happening and reasons why we should be trying to embrace more silence. So some of the ideas that you can use to embrace the silence are, I have, I think 10 places that you can embrace the silence to help you feel better and be more comfortable. So talk less and listen more. So practice listening. I know this is a big one for me, is just listening to my partner more. You know, what does he have to say? What do my kids have to say? I know my 5-year-old has, well, 6-year-old. She's had her birthday last month, but she has a lot to say. My 2.5-year-old, she's getting a lot to say too. So listening to them and hearing what they have to say and just really, really being mindful of what they're saying, it really helps. So just enjoying being at home and reading a good book, or enjoying those moments with your baby. So being at home with them and embracing those moments. So that first tip, talk more, or talk less, listen more, and embracing those moments with your loved ones and with your present moment of where you are, being mindful of where you are. I know we talked about mindfulness last week. So using those tools of mindfulness to embrace that time. So 2, turning down the volume. So I know I love to drive with no silence and no music or anything playing. It's just me and the road, and it's just a wonderful place that I've grown to love being in. I haven't always been there, but it's something to try out, you know, turning off the music, being in the silence of your vehicle, and how that feels. I know when we drive with the girls, often they'll fall asleep, and then it's like such a weird thing while we're driving. We don't have the girls awake, and then it's like, oh, okay, let's just embrace the silence, take a moment, enjoy, you know, feel that feeling. Another tip, way to embrace the silence is to meditate. So even for 5 minutes, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. And it can be just taking 5 minutes to, you know, watch your thoughts float away. So as thoughts pop into your mind, just imagine them going away in clouds, or if they're racing, maybe a train, watching the train, the thoughts are going by, and just trying to take those small moments between that silence, between those thoughts. And that is what is bringing those thoughts, and that's what's bringing life to everything. Like, you know, plants don't grow with noise, they grow in the silence. So just embracing that moment of time, that silence. So number 4 is take a trip by yourself. So it doesn't have to be lonely. I know this is hard with little ones, but even a little walk around the block by yourself. If you have somebody to watch your little ones, so just go for a little drive or walk around the park, something by yourself, you know, a way to get alone by yourself. So take a little moment to be by yourself. If you can get somebody to watch the kids for a minute, or maybe your husband's home in the evening, you can take a half hour or something and just get out, take that time to be by yourself. Number 5 is finding a calm in the community. So going out to a museum, an art gallery, somewhere where you can take in all of the beauty, a park, nature, any place. So finding a calm place in the community where you can embrace that peaceful, calm, and take that time. Library. I know we do lots of groups at the library with the kids. And when outside at the hours of the children's groups, it's definitely a nice, calm, peaceful place to be. So you can go to the library and have a moment, or maybe your little one's napping and you go during nap time if they're able to nap in the stroller or whatever when you're there. It can be a time to embrace the silence, or at home while baby's napping. It's a good places. So number 6, take a break from social media. This is a big one. I know nowadays we're all just constantly on our devices and hearing those dings and stuff and trying to check what the messages are and figure out what's coming up next, and checking out what everybody's doing. So just taking a break from that, put your phone aside for a few hours, and take a break. Turn it off so that you don't hear all those noises. Maybe even take a week or a month, whatever. Even just a few hours per day just to have that moment. We don't normally have very much plane traffic around where I am, but apparently we've got lots today. So hopefully everything's okay, because that usually means there's a medevac in the community, or maybe it's mining going on in summertime now, but we usually only have 1 or 2 flights a day. So lots of noise going on here today. So number 7 is take a forest bath. I don't know if you've heard the new term, but it's being thrown around a lot, is forest bathing. So getting out in nature essentially and enjoying it. And my little one's just woken up, and just make sure she gets to see her daddy. Arya, you go outside and see daddy?
No.
We went for a walk earlier, and she fell asleep in her stroller, so she just woke up now. Yeah, and so I was embracing the silence while she was sleeping. So make sure she's outside with her daddy, and they'll go play out in the tire swing and that out there. So as I was talking about forest bathing and being in the forest or in nature is very, very calming and very wonderful. So if you can get a chance to get out and do that, it's a nice way to take in your surroundings and observe things and embrace that quiet, peace and quiet, that silence. So silence the family circus. So less distractions. So being mindful of what's around in your family. So if you have toddlers, little ones, is trying to reduce the distractions so they're not so chattery and so busy, and so that they can learn to embrace the silence. So being flexible and giving them things that help them calm their mind and be more silent. So things like coloring, art supplies, building supplies, ways to help them calm down and have more silence, because then it's not so chaotic in their households. I know sometimes it can be pretty crazy. I know I had my daughters alone could be pretty crazy, but them along with their cousins when they're over, it can be quite crazy around here. So just giving them ways to be mindful and embracing the moments. And so tip number 9 is signing up for quiet yoga. So there are yoga classes you can always sign up for, or just a yoga DVD. I know I don't have yoga where I am, but I do enjoy doing a yoga DVD once in a while, or just doing some yoga poses from a book. So those are some ways to embrace the silence if you're interested in something like that. And tip number 7. So walking in circular places. So just going for a walk. is huge, and just embracing that moment. So those are my 5 or 10 tips for embracing the moment. And I hope you find them helpful. If you do, feel free to comment. Let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. I know just being comfortable with silence and embracing that has been tremendous for me, and a huge game changer from getting me to being in a state of depression and anxiety and constantly fighting with depression. It wasn't just through my pregnancy that I suffered from depression. It was also before that too. And statistically, that's what they say happens. And if you don't develop these, get help and develop new tools to help you through these troubles and get unstuck from all of this, then statistically, you're going to be more at risk of having that happen. So, with that said, if you are feeling stuck at all and you're feeling like you need some of these tools, or maybe we need to step a bit back and find some other tools that will work with you, feel free to comment. I'm always open to chatting and just figuring out where you're at and see if I can help you find the right tools to help you get through this. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday, a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you later. Have a good night, ladies. Bye-bye.